Hi guys, welcome to the Martens class story, The Mystery of the Hidden Gold. I'm just wondering how this Simon is going to get on in the story. Is he a good person or is he a bad person? Let's find out. Emily consulted the map. The next note says, and with S at shark. This must give us the second bearing so we can get it the right spot to start pacing out the direction. That must be the S in the word Afrikaans on the coin, Scott said, which means it's over in that direction. He pointed off towards the open sea. Jack looked across the water as if expecting a triangular fin to cruise past. He hummed a few bars of the theme from Jaws. Obviously, it can't be a real shark, he said. You don't get sharks in Cornwall. Yes, you do, Emily said. Yeah, great whites, Scott added. Enormous, savage, hungry ones. No way, Jack stared at his brother. You mean we've been rowing around shark-infested waters in this tiny little boat? Emily laughed. Don't listen to Scott. They're basking sharks. They only eat plankton. Simon grinned. If you want the really big man-eaters, come to Australia. Anyway, Emily said, turning her attention back to the map. Maddox can't mean a real shark swimming around in the sea. It wouldn't exactly be a helpful reference point. More likely something in the shape of a shark, Scott said. Like what? Jack thought. Apart from the monastery, there was nothing here but a load of old rocks, he mumbled. What about that one? Emily pointed to a huge rock jutting out from the water just off the coast. If we walk closer to the monastery, it'll be at the right angle. They headed inland up a steep slope away from the shoreline. Straggy weeds and pink flowers were sprouting up among the scattered boulders of the monastery ruins. The freshening breeze rustled the long grass, and the bell tolled louder. Any minute now, Jack thought, we'll hear the ghostly chanting of a procession of hooded monks. I don't envy Maddox being here on a dark and stormy night. It doesn't look much like a shark to me, Scott said. Emily marched on. They were almost in the shadow of the monastery now. She looked back at the rock. Scott was right. But with your eyes half closed and a lot of an imagination, it could be a shark leaping out of the water. Then again, it could also be a banana or a bird. Or just a curved rock. She took a step and looked again. Then she saw it. The pointed summit of the second rock in the distance poked up behind the shark and made a perfect fin. This is it, she shouted, grabbing the photo of the coin from Scott. We've got both bearings. She lined up the Kruger's nose with the two towers and the S with the shark rock. This is the starting point. Scott and Jack hugged her and they jumped up and down. Drift ran around in circles. He could feel the buzz of anticipation in the air. Simon Fox high-fived them all. Great work, teamwork, guys. Emily was so excited she could hardly hold the coin printout steadily as Jack took the map and called out the first instruction. F6. Together they all marched 6 paces in the direction of the F. Z4, Jack shouted. They all turned towards the Z and took 4 steps. Only a few moments later they had paced out the 7th and final step. They were standing in a bramble patch next to a heap of boulders. It must be here somewhere, Emily breathed. Let's give the technology a whirl. Simon switched on the metal detector and began to sweep it from side to side. There was a crackle and a fizz and then a loud bang. Fox swore and leapt back, clutching his hand. Damn electric shock. This seawater short-circuited the sensors. Never mind, Emily said. Look at Drift. Little dog was sniffing at the base of a massive boulder, scratching at the thin soil with his paws. Drift hasn't got water in his sensors, Jack laughed. Come on, it must be under there. Together, they leaned their weight against the boulder. They pushed and pushed. Scott was glad they'd had Simon with them now. They'd never have shifted the boulder without him. Timber! Jack shouted as the rock finally toppled over. They all fell to their knees and joined Drift, scrapping away on the tiny dry soil Suddenly Scott's hand hit something hard. This was it. A little more frantic scrabbling, and the top of a wooden chest came into view. They reached down and cleared more earth away until they could drag it out of the hole. It was very heavy. For a moment, everyone stared at the blackened wood and rusty hinges. Well, are we just going to look at it all day, or are we going to open it? Jack demanded. What if it's locked? Scott asked. Maddox didn't say anything about a key, Emily said. Only one way to find out. Jack grabbed the lid. To his amazement, it creaked open. The chest was full to the brim of big, fat gold coins glinting in the late afternoon sun. Kruger Pons, Scott shouted. Thousands of them. Emily cuddled Drift. Drift did it again. He's always right. Awesome, Jack breathed. Simon whistled. These little beauties must be worth a fortune. Suddenly they were all laughing and hugging each other, even Simon Fox. All the friends' earlier doubts about him were long since forgotten in the thrill of the discovery. They had found the buried treasure. They all scooped up handfuls of coins and let them run through their fingers like golden waterfalls. Drift stood with his front paws on the edge of the chest and barked triumphantly. After admiring the gold for some time, Scott happened to glance back into the hole. There was something else hidden in the space behind the boulder. He bent down and unearthed a smaller metal box laid down next to the chest and pulled open the lid. Inside was a rifle. Its slim wooden stock was badly scratched and dark with age, but its long barrel still looked mean. Wow, cool, an old gun, Jack said. Maddox must have brought his trusty weapon back here from the Boer War, Fox remarked. Nice looking piece. A Lee Enfield by the look of it. He picked up the gun and turned it over in his hands. They had a detachable magazine. This was state of the art in those days. Ah, yes, here it is. Fox took the magazine out of the box and examined it briefly. Only 4 rounds left in here. He fixed it to the top of the rifle. Emily wasn't even remotely interested in guns. She looked at her watch and then at the orange disk of sun sinking steadily towards the horizon. We need to get a move. It'll soon be dark. Scott reached for the handle at one end of the chest. It's going to be a killer lugging this over the rocks, the Gemini. Give us a hand, Simon. Fox reached down, but he didn't take hold of the handle. Instead, he held up the rifle and cocked it. He took a step back, curled his fingers round the trigger and pointed the barrel at Scott. Jack laughed. He must think we're still playing at pirates. But then he saw the look on Fox's face, and his laughter withered away. Simon Fox was deadly serious. He double-crossed them again. Oh, what's going to happen? You'll have to join us on Monday. Take care.